Namaskar. Hello and welcome to P Guru's channel. I'm your host Sree Iyer. Joining me is General Ravi Shankar. This is a series of talks that we are having, short, focused episodes on various aspects. General Ravi Shankar, this is something that is perhaps frustrating for the armed forces as much as it is for the people when something like this happens. India goes through several rounds of negotiations and then an accord is signed whereby both sides agree to do a few things. And what happens is India seems to be doing those things, but our esteemed neighbors, saying it in plural, they don't do that. So, in such situations, how does one hold the feet to fire of such people, renegades, who don't want to, even though they have signed it themselves, don't want to agree to that?
Yeah, a very valid question. If you look at all the agreements which we've signed with China, in 2020 they violated all. They've gone back on virtually all the border and border peace and tranquility agreements which we've signed. They've gone back on all the MOUs. We've not gone back on any one. Same thing with Pakistan. Before I say how do we make them honor, let's discuss why do they dishonor. Because unless we understand why these countries dishonor their agreements, then we'll not be able to address the problem. The first thing is, ours is a democracy, whereas both China and Pakistan are non-democracies, where there's no rule of law. Whatever rule of law is a matter of convenience for them. For us, it's law. It's sanctified by a constitution, right? The law is guaranteed by the constitution. For them, that concept is not there. So by nature, they will slip out of the agreement, whatever you do. That's their first nature. Then let's look at China. What is the developed world talking of China? They're talking of rule of law, right? And why are they talking that China should go as per the rule of law? Because it violates all laws. If I would put it's a series violator. It's violated almost everything. But it wants to put its own laws in place as part of the Sinocentric world order. It wants to impose its own solutions onto you. And that's the case with Pakistan as far as India is concerned also. So, first, you're looking at non-democracies, autocratic nations which don't have a good base of law. And if they have some laws, they're not respected. And the next part is they want to impose their solutions on you and use these laws to their benefit, to violate it as it suits them. Now, let me discuss China in a little more detail. I'll get back to Pakistan. When Hong Kong was transferred back to China, it was based on a treaty. As per that, till 2050, it used to be one country, two systems.
Correct.
And Hong Kong was to be functional independently.
Right.
But much before 2050, Hong Kong has been usurped by China and incorporated as part of China. It happened in 2019, if you remember. So they violated a treaty. Now, a treaty is different from an agreement or a MOU. A treaty is binding by international law. A treaty is normally tripartite. Invariably, if you see any treaty, it is more than tripartite or more. You have the three parties. In this, the three parties were the citizens of Hong Kong, China, mainland China, and Britain, governed by international norms that was broken by China. So China has a history of breaking treaties. I'm just saying this. And China has a way of manufacturing their claims like they did with the 9-dash line in the South China Sea. So that also is completely, it puts them in a different level altogether of interpreting history the way they want it and enforcing it on others. So in such conditions, holding them to a treaty or any agreement is actually futile. And all our agreements and treaties with China are bilateral, not even trilateral or with not tripartite, or not even, never underwritten by a third party, right? And so they violate it. So to expect them to hold a treaty or respect the agreement or MOU, I think is quite foolish. And to be very honest, I think we've been foolish enough to believe that they'll do it historically. I'm not talking of personalities, but India trusted, or rather in 62, with that Panchil and Chini, Hindi Chini, bye bye, we trusted China and we were let down. Later on, again we trusted China in the recent past, and we had 2020 Ladakh and Doklam and Yangtze happening. So, our experience also suggests that no treaty with China is worth the paper it's written on. Let's be very clear. So, how do you enforce it is the question. It's very simple. Then it comes to force. Any treaty can only be held by force. And we shouldn't get into treaties with China which can't be enforced. And to that extent, has India done the right thing? I think we have realized this. That is why the rebalancing onto the border, that you have rebalanced. Today, China can't violate anything anymore and get away with it. In fact, today China is in a position where after all the violations, it still can't get away. If you look at it, China wanted to enforce a new border alignment in 2020. It didn't expect India to react the way it did. It did, now they're stuck. It can't go back. On the other hand, now they have to invest more and more and more to keep those people there. Because if now they go back, we'll go forward. They're worried about it. And now they have to invest even more because we have also rebalanced. Now we have 2 strike coasts facing China. In fact, India has 4 strike coasts, out of which 2 are definitely facing China. 1 more can face China, can be inducted in due course, and 1 can take care of Pakistan, more than enough. So the force balance has changed. So we are in a position to now hold them accountable to any treaty they sign or any agreement. The next thing is, are these agreements only a matter of enforcing by force or gunpoint or by military, or can you enforce it economically? You can. For example, when you pass laws so that neighboring countries can't invest in you without the government clearance, you prevented takeover of major things like HDFC and all by China, which they were eyeing during the pandemic, and the government stopped it. So even that imposes. You ensure anti-dumping laws which you put. You physically stop those items from coming. You don't clear them coming. You have also said no flights from China to India, direct flights. That connectivity also you not agreed. You're not letting them to come and train here, or rather not giving them visas enough. So you've done a lot. You banned TikTok. After all, people don't understand. We are both sitting in the United States at this point of time. And in the United States, for the past 4 years, 2 presidents have changed and TikTok is still not banned. In India, it happened overnight. So we have done quite a bit. So you have to understand that you have to enforce these laws with China. One is by, plain gunpoint diplomacy. The other is economic and other diplomacy which I've outlined. So you enmesh them with a few options. So if one doesn't work, the other starts working. Now, you're not agreeing with China on anything. Even in the SCO, the Prime Minister didn't go recently. You told them, look, unless you sort out that issue, we'll not talk. So get back to your agreement. We are forcing it. So you need to have diplomatic tools, you need to have military tools, you need to have economic tools, commercial tools, and international tools to take it back to square one. So that's how you deal with China. Now with Pakistan is a different kettle of fish on these issues. Pakistan has a hangover of being completely anti-Indian and not to respect any treaty with India, right? But at the same time, it also realizes that it cannot afford to violate its pacts, agreements, and everything with India and get away with it. After all, they went out of the Shimla agreement. It was a bilateral agreement. We've insisted that it should be bilateral. They want to go to the international community. We said no, it has to be settled bilaterally because we have better strength with Pakistan to settle issues, and that has helped us. There might be minor infringements from Pakistan from time to time, whether it's on the LC or wherever, or in proxy war and things like that. But over the past 30 years, you weathered it, and as we grew stronger, and as Pakistan has descended into chaos, in which it is at this point of time, you are now in a better position to enforce what you want. But have a look at it. Despite all our struggles with Pakistan, the Indus Water Treaty has stood. The Indus Water Treaty was underwritten by the World Bank and the international authorities. Mind you, it came in 1960. It was signed between Ayub Khan and at that time and Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. It was signed in Karachi, but later everyone ratified it. 60 to now, we are now looking at 64 years. It has stood the test of time, where the three northern rivers water goes to Pakistan, the three southern rivers or the eastern rivers are for us. Satluj, Ravi and Beas, that is Cham, Jhelum and Indus goes to Pakistan. It has withstood. There are, there's an Indus Water Treaty Commission, which is of Pakistan and India, which monitors implementation of this treaty. And there's a process, there's a due process which has been established, it can work. So it's not as if completely we've been at a disadvantage. Where we have gone logically, we've been able to hold ground, like the Indus Water Treaty. Now, Pakistan is more worried about the Indus Water Treaty.
Because if we start implementing it to the letter,
they are finished. Right? With China, we've been at a disadvantage so far because I think, frankly, our politicians got swayed away by China. It's not only India, even America.
Yeah.
USA also invested so much in China, and what they've got back is a competitor who wants to replace them. Right? So I think China, अगर किसी ने धोखा दिया, it's more China giving धोखा to USA than even India. So you have to take this international route with China and keep everyone in the loop and work around it. And we have to realize we are in a tough environment. Probably we are in the toughest environment in the world, where both our neighbors are nuclear neighbors,
right,
and where we have unsettled borders with both of them. And to both of them are a threat to us, but equally to both of them we are a threat. Right? They consider us as a threat. Whether we like it or not, they consider it so. So we have to realize that, and there's no shying away from the fact that we have to do hard bargaining and take hard steps. But that's the learning process I think we have had in the past few years, where we've been able to get around things. We have a better understanding of these issues. I mean, there's no point in cribbing about the fact that they don't adhere to agreements. We just have to enforce it. This is what I had to say. You have any more questions we can discuss?
Couple of times what happens is that India gets into a situation where it finds China up to its mischief. Let's take the latest incident in Pakistan that, insurgents are now attacked a convoy in Kathua area. 4 soldiers killed, 2 or 3 civilians also. Like you said, it is par for the course. There's a peace accord in place right now.
Yeah, that's the peace accord along the LC. So this has happened in the hinterland.
Oh, so IB is okay then?
Not the IB, the LC. The peace.
No, I get that. Line of control is in place. Yeah.
Line of control, peace in place. IB also, peace is in place. This has happened. Katwa is about 8 to 10 kilometers away from the IB, where this incident has happened. See, this incident is a follow-up of the incident which happened last month, where there was an intrusion detected and we eliminated a few people. So they've done this deliberately to ensure that, look, we can do what we want to do. It's a bit of a demonstration. This will come. So how do you repay this back? There are other methods, because certain methods I can't even tell you in this. And India uses them. And people might say, okay, can we do something across the LC? We could, that's an option. Whether we want to do it at this point of time or not, or heat up the LC, is our choice. Because I think the better option is to keep pushing Pakistan towards the western border. As it has got stuck there, I don't think it will come out of that. The more you push them that side and do things covertly, is good enough, and Pakistan will get a message. But Pakistan, even if you give it a message, it doesn't matter then. Because whoever comes this side and gets eliminated also, they are just fodder in this from the machine of theirs. So if they achieve something good enough, if they get eliminated, they are also okay with it. So this problem is something we have to live with.
Thank you so much, General Ravi Shankar, and food for thought. This is not going to go away anytime soon. There are other things that can be done. For example, help break up Pakistan, help break up China. You're already seeing some moves in this direction. Nancy Pelosi comes to visit Dalai Lama in Dharamsala, not in New York City, where you can say, oh, he's coming for a health visit and we have met. So there are all these are all messages. You saw Xi Jinping hurrying within 24 hours to go to a Buddhist monastery to make it look like he's whatever he's trying to say. Thank you so much, General Ravi Shankar, and viewers will be putting these things out, spaced a couple of days apart, and we would appreciate you if you can look at the entire thing and you can send in your comments, and we will also try and see if we can do more such things in the future. Thanks once again, sir. It's been a long time today. We sat down and did a lot of talking, and viewers, please like, share and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to click on the bell button for notifications. Namaskar. Namaskar.